Every watch collector has one of these. It's free to make and drool over, and will always keep its maker busy, daydreaming about the next watch to come. A watch Grail's wishlist. Here's mine. Hey folks, I'm Em. If you're new here, I collect non-essential things and make videos about them. The main is out today. So I want to briefly go over about my watch preferences in terms of style. If you've seen my videos so far, I think you will realize that I tend to prefer a certain style of watches. I'm not the type that likes dive watches at all. I'm not particularly into sports watches, or the majority of them. And I'm not interested at all in all the bulky watches that seem to be all the rage today. So mainly I like dress pieces, or what would be considered dress pieces that I could eventually reuse in a more casual style. I've opened my notes, where I have my wish list saved. Let's go through them. So the first one, I mentioned it in the last video that I made. It's the Omega Speedmaster 57. It's a bicompax, beautiful chronograph from Omega. It's using one of their latest coaxial movements, and it's what I would consider a classy sports watch. I have to go try it on still, but I might prefer it to the standard Speedmaster Professional. I love it. I do miss a bracelet style chronograph on my wrist. And it's also only 40.5 millimeters, it's not overly big. It is about 8.5K though. Still beautiful though. So that's the first of the two sports pieces that I do have in my wish list. On to the second one. Oh yes. The Vacheron Constantin Overseas. I think this is the perfect everyday and travel watch. I think it's beautiful, simple. The blue dial is absolutely stunning in person. I had the chance to have a look at one of them in the Vacheron Constantin boutique, although they didn't let me try it on because it was an allocation for someone else. I love the rotor details, and it is a great one watch collection, also because it does come with additional 2 straps, one leather and one in rubber. We're starting to rack up in price here on the wish list. This one is about 24,000. Oh, by the way, I did go and put my name on the waitlist for this one, and guess what? About a year later, I got my call. But that's material for another video. Next one in line, we are starting to get more into dressy pieces here. This one I also have an interesting story for. It's the Cartier tank Chinoise in platinum. It's a limited edition. They only made 150 of these pieces, and I think it's gorgeous. It's got a champagne dial, with sunray finish, and I mean, a ruby cabochon, a mix of polished and brushed surfaces. I think it looks insane. It's the perfect vampire watch. And the way this came onto my radar was quite weird. So I actually was fortunate enough to have this watch offered to me when it came out. And I think I got offered the only UK piece that they released. But I did not like the pictures that the AD sent me back then, and I did not research it further because it just didn't vibe with me. I think a couple of weeks later, or a week later, just curiosity struck me, and I was like, yeah, let me go check that tank Chinoise again. And I googled it just to see some of the other people's materials on it, and I was struck. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I contacted back my dealer, but it was gone by then. So since then I've been looking for it, and my god, it's high on my wish list. I'd love to be able to get it. Now obviously, if you're talking about that same piece, the only choice I have now is go grey market. But hey, I think it's incredibly elegant. The retail price for this piece is 30,000, so we're again going up in price again. This never stops, does it? Now on to the last 3 pieces of my wish list. The first one, again from Vacheron Constantin, is the 1921, the Historiques collection 1921. Probably I would go with the white gold in 36.5mm. I did get a chance to try one of the bigger models on, but I think it looked a little bit too big for my wrist. So I would love to try the smaller size because it looks beautiful. It's classy. Everyone has their own story as to why it got the dial is turned sideways. Even the Rapid Vacheron has a different story than some of the others that you hear, even from Vacheron themselves. But I think it looks incredibly stylish. It's beautiful both from the front and from the back. The dial is incredibly balanced, and I think it's something that is accentuated even more in the 36.5mm model, as it is more compact. This is another toy that floats around $30,000, pounds or euros, whatever. It's a lot of money. So, it's called a wish list. Moving on to another maker who's not Swiss. Lange & Sohne. It's a brand that makes incredibly intriguing pieces, in my opinion. And the one that I think would like the most from them is the Lange 1 Moonphase in rose gold. Beautiful dress watch, is 38.5mm. The Moonphase is gorgeous, the back is breathtaking. The big days, which is a signature of Lange watches, is striking, and you can tell that the whole dial was designed with the golden ratio in mind. Another perfectly balanced dial. And again, this going for about 32,000. I mean, we're just throwing numbers around now. And last but certainly not least, another Vacheron Constantin. This time it's still the Historiques collection, but it is the Cons de Vache 1955. I think this is the most beautiful chronograph ever. I don't think I've ever seen a better chronograph, a better looking chronograph than this. It's stylish, it's classy, it has a lot of information on the dial, but it is not busy, it doesn't read busy. All the applied details are fantastic. I would love to be able to get my hands on one at some point. This is now going for £45,000. I'm pretty sure Vacheron raised their prices on this model as well. Last time I checked, I remember seeing this for, I think, 35k-ish. That's a big increase. But still, the movement is a fairly classic, very high-hand Le Mania style chronograph. I think it's the same basis that they used for, it's used in the Omega 321, the Ed White column wheel chronograph, which is a standard to look at. I would spend hours looking at this thing. So here it is. It's 5 incredibly expensive, beautiful, and all aspirational watches that I have in my Grail's wish list. I also need to add 3 ones from the stupid list. The ones that I would never even think of ever owning, but I would love to at least see them in the flesh once in my lifetime. The first one is the Je l'écoute Reverso Hybrid Mechanica Quadriptyque. That thing is stupid. Fantastic. There's nothing I can say about it. Just look at some of these pictures. It's $1.5 million. I'm never gonna see one. But I wish I could. Oh my god. And also it's gigantic. All of these 3 stupid pieces are just too big. I would never even wear them if I even could ever afford them, which I can't. After that incredible reverso, if I had $500,000 to spare, I would probably be looking at the Omega Chrono Chime. I know a lot of people would not be looking at Omega for such a high-end complication and spending that amount of money. But I think it's fascinating, aside of the fact that I do think it's very pretty. And I think it's one of these pieces that it will keep being talked about in the future. And the third one, which I think is the most beautiful of the 3 that I've just mentioned, is the Lange & Sohne 1815 Handwerkskunst. Another one of those pieces where you just have to look at it. Look at it. I'm just putting some things on the screen. You look at them and you tell me what you think. Don't you think this is insane? I do. I would love to even see it in the flesh once. Again, another about 350,000, 400,000 pounds watch. Yeah, just for laughs. Now, folks, this is my wish list as of now. Time might and will change my mind on some of these, or not. Or I might just eventually, when I'm in my 80s, will be able to get all of these and my collection will be over. But I know that everyone will just laugh at this. They know. You know. Also, I realized that everyone, pretty much every single piece in this wish list, would make a fantastic one-piece watch collection for almost anyone that had similar tastes to mine. I understand that these things are incredibly expensive and mostly unrealistic. But again, it's a wish list. I dream. Leave a like if you've enjoyed this video, and unlike buying any of the pieces that we just mentioned, subscribing is free. What's currently in your wish list? What are the pieces that you dream of owning one day? I'm curious to know. I hope you folks enjoyed this chat. See you in the next one.